Welcome to Chasing and Aligned.
Hello.
My name is Yuli, and I'm here with
Gassi.
And Leo.
And we're just siblings who are just going to talk about our lives, God, debates, just all general random stuff. So if you're into that, then keep watching.
Yeah, so I'm just going to start off by asking us, like, why did we even decide to do this podcast? Because I feel like it was very individual. Like, we all had our own reasons of why even starting it. So, Leo, can you start us off? Like, why did you want to do this?
Yeah, so I'm going to be a little more honest. It's definitely was an idea that sparked up, ignited, and really something that was initially brought up by my sisters. So I'm the oldest. I'm the first of us three, and I'm busy with the normal day-to-day life, with work, with school, and so I wasn't really looking like, hey, what's this opportunity that's coming my way? But I think that, why not? And my sisters are good communicators. They love talking. They yap a lot.
You too.
Okay, I can talk too. So I'm like, you know what? Brothers, sisters, I think there's going to be conversations that would be fruitful. That would be, hey, maybe other people can relate.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe someone out there is like, you know what she said or what he said, I went through that or I feel that. And so I think, what harm could be done.
Right.
And I think it's also going to be a good way to testify and show our Christian faith and what role God plays in our lives.
Yeah.
And then how we can connect that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more like it came to me and my sisters brought it up. They wanted to do it. I thought it was cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're just like, I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah. Here for the ride. Let's talk about it.
Literally.
Yeah. For me, it was very much like I decided to start this podcast because I'm more close to the heart. Like, I love spending time with you guys. I feel like every family gathering, friend gathering, we're always talking.
Okay, this girl, all her cousins know that she talks for at least 2 hours every single time we meet. And she doesn't only just talk about random things. Like, she talks about the deepest things. And people are crying at the end of us talking. Like, everyone knows that. And so she definitely has that gift of, like, bringing people in her stories.
Yeah, I feel like it's...
So I love it, yeah.
I'm a big storyteller. I feel like I've been through a lot, and I just experiences and, like, helping other people. And I just... very easy to understand others. Very open-minded. So for me, and just starting this podcast to begin with was just to keep our bonds close. Like, I know we're growing up. Like you mentioned, you're busy, right? You go to school and then there's work, and so you go to Azusa, you're far, and you know what I mean. So I just thought it was like it would be a really good idea to bring us together and start something like this and communicate and find that importance of uniting as a family and helping others and just coming together. And we always have awesome conversations, so I just think it was like perfect for us to start. We're talking like for hours, and I'm like, this should be recorded. Like, it's funny. So that's how I feel about it. How about you?
And for me, it was so, like, out of nowhere. I kind of did take it as a joke, like, sure, this is gonna happen.
Very much a joke,
right? But we're so blessed to have this opportunity.
Yeah,
we are. Like, we have family who have access to these things, and it's
who love us, support us.
They love us, they support us. Like, I think it was just a great opportunity. And when it comes to life, if things are open and it's kind of like what is stopping you, then do it.
Yeah.
Like, what's holding you back? And especially when it comes to, I guess, our lives, there is so much impact in what we've been through. Yeah. And also, like, how God has been working in our hearts and our minds. I'm like, yeah, I talk about this to everyone. Like, why not reach people that maybe may not know us? And that could be the case. And so I'm just, like, super honored, super blessed for us to have this opportunity.
Yeah. And I feel like you're so much in outreaching to people. Like, you always want to be that light, and I do see, like, that's a lot in your character and helping those that you care so much. You have a big heart, so I feel like you're always
I'ma cry.
outreaching, and I think that's just awesome, and it's nice to see as an older sister.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry.
I mean, I get like a lot of us, like, we are all big lovers.
Yeah.
Like, we have a big heart and we're leaders, and I think we get that from our parents. Like, they lead people and they take care of people, and it's great. So it's definitely in our blood, you can say. But yeah, I'm just gonna get into our foundation. So we're gonna be talking about our individual stories, like Yuli touched on.
Yeah.
But specifically, I'm just gonna go over things that we have in common. Because why are we gonna share the same thing over and over again?
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm just gonna go down a list of things that we have in common. And so the biggest thing is, one, we grew up in a Mexican household.
Cultural.
Our parents are from Jalisco. Why am I forgetting?
Yeah.
Our parents
Mexican.
are from Jalisco, Mexico.
Represent.
Zapatillos.
And yeah, and we definitely grew up in that. We grew up with our grandparents, and so it was like, Yuli, you're cleaning, you're cooking,
doing the dishes.
Leo, I don't remember the last time he did a chore. Like, let's be for real. So that's a thing that
It's
happened.
not super traditional, but yeah, there's definitely that Mexican Catholic influence, definitely for sure.
Yeah, but I think come on, let's give credit to Leo, right? And he hardworking, the trash.
No, I never cleaned the dishes, so yeah, fair enough. Definitely, I didn't get that pressure.
He
like,
did not clean the dishes. When was the last time you did your laundry, bro?
No,
I do it.
He
I
does
do
his
it.
laundry now.
I do it now.
Now.
Yeah.
How old are you? Anyways. Nah, I'm playing. No, but yeah, so we did grow up in this like cultural kind of gender norm-ish, not issue, right?
Yeah.
There's beauty in it.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of something we have. And then also we grew up Catholic, and I would say more culturally Catholic, because I only been maybe, I don't know, twice. I remember only twice in being in mass, like actually remember. So yeah,
I think because you're just a very young age.
Yeah, when it comes to me, for sure I was like younger than you guys, so it was like harder.
So just so like we know the age differences,
Right.
24,
22, turning 23 in less than a month.
21, baby.
so definitely not big huge gaps.
Yeah,
like in
no.
some families, like I have
Right.
some friends who like
Right.
he's 20 like me, and his brother's like 32 or something like that.
Yeah,
So we definitely had that.
very.
I mean, there's a
close.
gap, but it's close enough so that we were able to learn and see from each other. But
Yeah. So that's a big thing when it comes to like our faith based, right? And then another thing is that our parents got divorced when I was 1. Yuli was
I was 3.
3, that was 4. And so obviously like we had to go back and forth from father to mother, and we have that opportunity to know both, right? Not everyone knows both of their parents, like one leaves. And so there's a lot that we learned from both lives, you can say, and that definitely had a big impact in our life, and we all share that. But it's just super beautiful how we are so different from each other, yet we kind of went through the same background.
Yeah, like that foundation.
Right. Like I think it just speaks to the beauty in every person's story and how perspective is such a big thing in life. And so, yeah, we're just going to get right into our individual stories. Like what made us who we are?
Yeah.
And how did we,
Get here
come up? Like how did we get here to this podcast? So, Lo, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'm the oldest, so it's fitting that I talk about pretty much, obviously summarized, because try talking about someone's whole life in just a short time.
Yeah.
But
Impossible.
to give a quick overview, so a little bit of context, we are from California, San Fernando Valley,
Ooh,
LA County, right? So
Yep.
we're in the heart of where things happen. What drives the culture?
My bad.
Her phone fell.
What drives the culture, and basically like a lot happens here, and there's a lot to do, and there's definitely a big influence from this city and from this culture, and from how things are here. So born and raised, and we've been here I'll go into it, but for the most of my life I was here. And so like my sister brought up, with our parents being divorced we were at a young age, or I was at a young age, so that it's not like super traumatic, where
Like out of the ordinary.
like I wasn't used to having mom, dad, and then like seeing them live together and have that love.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like as hurtful because you grew up with that. Like,
Yeah. So like I have like faint memories of them actually when they were together, and like when I would see them, and like it would be mom and dad, just a few, and then so mainly starting to grow up, it was already with we live with mom, and then weekends we go with dad.
Yeah.
And so that kind of made it so that growing up, I had, in a sense, two different lives.
Yeah.
One with my sisters, with my mother, my grandparents' home, and then one where we would go spend time with my dad.
Yeah.
And so there'll be different things that we go through and that we talk about. But so my journey, like everyone's, starts in school. And school is great. School is amazing. So
preschool.
LAUSD.
LAUSD,
I mean,
public education system.
Yeah.
It did enough. I mean, I think really it was on the person. I have some criticism later on, but in the beginnings, no issues.
You're a preschool little boy. And,
So okay, preschool. Two main things.
Yeah.
Miss Michelle. I'll never forget. I don't know why.
Actually.
So as a little boy, that was the first teacher that really spoke to me, and that I really felt like someone's that wasn't family.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That wasn't a close friend who like cared for me, showed affection for me.
That's so cool how like showing affection and someone caring for you can like impact your life, like your heart so much. You're
Being
2 years old.
Preschooler, like I don't even remember what teachers I had at that time. Like, well, that's crazy.
You're like 2 years old. 3?
That just shows his heart, though. Like, let's be for real.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah. So she left the impact on me, and that's just because she took the time to teach me, to show me, and there would be times where it's like before I leave school, you know how preschoolers like, oh, like they cry or they don't want to go, or like you start to create bonds there.
Yeah.
And so she would always like reassure me like, hey, like we'll see each other tomorrow.
Aww.
Right?
The reassurance.
So, okay. So heartbreak introduced when I left. But also I said 2. So 1 was Michelle, and 2, I was little kid playing outside in the grass. And I don't know. I guess I just decided I wanted to sit down in the grass, and I sit down and something's not right. Hey.
It's a freaking...
I get up, I look, and there's a squashed dead bee. That thing.
How is that so impactful? That's so funny.
Okay.
Pain.
That was the first vivid memory of what pain is like.
Oh, okay.
A stinger in the butt. I'm a little kid. I'm crying. And I'm like, what happened? Why is this? And then from there, I'm like, okay, things hurt in life.
Yeah.
So not everything is nice and sunshine and rainbows. Like, dang, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
But what makes it better?
Ice cream?
Little bit of ice and some orange juice.
Orange juice?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They laid me down like on a hospital like metal bed.
Oh.
On my stomach, my butt's out. They put ice on it, and I have a little orange juice. I'm sipping it.
Really?
Anyways,
does this happen in school?
Interesting.
School. Wow.
Well, they had I don't know. Maybe they're trained for this. I don't know. Maybe it was the first time.
Now you know if you get a bee sting, put some orange juice
ice
on that.
and orange juice.
No, drink the orange juice and put some ice on that.
Oh.
That's what he meant.
Oh. I thought they literally put orange juice on it. That's why I was confused.
No.
Oh, you just drink it. Okay. That makes sense.
As a treat. Like you're, you know.
LOL. That makes sense. Never mind.
Okay. Anyways, middle school begins a new chapter. And why do I say that? Elementary was learning and really enjoying learning. And you learn how to communicate, you learn how to do math, you learn a little about history, the country, and that's all good. And you start to form relationships with friends.
Yeah.
And you start to play, and you're being introduced into the world, and you're seeing that there's so much. There's a lot outside of your little bubble, in your home, in your circle, that there's a lot to learn and a lot to figure out. And middle school was different because I was a good student. I was a good kid in elementary. Things took a downturn middle school. Why? Now looking back, the introduction of technology and like more advanced technology and like everyday like social media too. So I think it was when I was 12 when like Facebook became a thing. Like it first came out.
That's wild. And I feel like during that time, like the iPhones, the new stuff was coming out during that time of generation.
Like iPod Touch. I don't know if people remember.
DS, like we were just, you know, those things were getting brought up. The Wii, yeah.
Can we bring Wii back? Like
Cooking Mama.
Oh my gosh, that was the best. What happened?
So you're gonna say like, why is technology and games and social media gonna impact your school? And well, it's very simple. Me with my friends and my cousins, we got into video games, playing games.
Very much so.
And it was an addiction. I was glued to that computer screen, and all I wanted to do was play games.
Where the heck is Lil?
Yeah.
Glued to a computer.
Yeah, there's a moment where we were living with my cousins, and we all hopped on each computer, and we all got in, and hey, let's play this game. Let's try to win.
I remember that.
But it makes sense why it's addicting, because it's in you team up and you try to win and you try to get better.
Yeah.
And the game rewards you for that, so you keep going. So basically, I'm not saying that video games are bad or evil, or if you get really into video games, that's going to mean you're going to be a bad student. If you don't balance it, you don't control it. And me as a kid, I'm really sorry, I didn't have that moderation or like someone controlling that. I pretty much had the freedom to, when I wanted to play, as long as it wasn't too late, I was playing.
Yeah, but then there's abuelo coming down looking for you.
So, me growing in the home, it's my mom and my grandparents and then my sisters. And my grandpa. My grandpa was the fatherly figure. He was the man of the house. He was the one who showed me how to become a little young man. And he cared for me. He showed me love that I think desperately affected me and changed me and formed me to how I was and to how I turned out. So much so that I was the spoiled grandchild.
Yeah, the favorite.
I was the favorite. The
mi gran Leo.
Yeah, there's a saying. Every time he would say me, mi gran Leo. That was his phrase. And what does that mean? My great Leo.
Right.
Yeah.
And it really made me feel that great. What does it mean to be great? Like, what have I done that's great?
Yeah.
And he's just saying, doesn't matter what you've done or how you've done, you're great just because who you are.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna make me cry. That's so sweet.
I shared a room with him. I would sleep with him, and he put into me what important it is to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Obviously, my dad also was there, but he wasn't the day-to-day. It was my grandpa. And every night, without fail, he would remind me, hey, let's pray before we go to bed. Persínate, which means make the sign of the cross. And so you make the sign of the cross, pray to your guardian angel, maybe an Our Father, Padre Nuestro, and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And so from a young age, in my mind, I was like, there's something out there that's watching me, that cares for me, that's guiding me. I don't fully understand it yet, but I know from what I'm being told, from what I'm seeing, that
it's real. It's there.
That I was created and that I'm here.
Yeah.
And that he loves me.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to school. Became a bad student. I was still passing. I just wasn't like the super straight A. Now we go to high school. In high school, things are advanced now. And what does your life become? Your life becomes your friends, your friends, your circles, your groups. That's your life. You're
and
not
food.
and food. And food.
And food.
We love our food.
Yeah, I'm not worried about anything else. Like, you really take it for granted. Like, you know, those sayings that are said, like, oh, like, I wish I could go back to those times, or like back to being a kid, or like back to school. Because what's your job? Like, you go to school, you learn, you hang out with friends, and then you go home, chill, eat. Bills, rent, insurance, sweating.
Everybody.
I'm still in that phase, y'all.
like it's so cliche, but no, it's true. Like, now as an adult, as a young adult, like, wow, those were the times where you needed to take advantage and you needed to enjoy that time and really honor the position you had and the privilege you had.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was it. I did better because I saw what middle school was. I didn't want to continue that. I didn't want to keep going down that path. So I did better in my studies. I made good friendships. Friendships that I still have to the day.
By the way. That's
multiple
awesome.
friends from elementary, from middle school, from high school that I still talk to, keep the day to day.
That's great.
And
wild.
Those friendships are important. They're really important. And they help you. They help you, and really having those different perspectives and those different relationships, you're able to understand how life is for other people.
Yeah.
Besides just your own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so high school's coming to an end. There was a relationship there that can be its own podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That'll be
like,
a separate podcast.
So I was introduced to love with the girl, or I say love, but you know, in that time, like, what is love for you?
That's spicy.
Stay tuned to another podcast.
That's gonna be something. That's gonna be something to get into.
Yeah.
But you leave high school and you have two options: college, go to university, continue, try to get a degree, or you go to work. And you start working. No, I chose option 3, join the military.
You're joining the military. First of all, shocker. Okay?
Shocker. He did not tell us.
No, this was like, honestly, this was quick. It was like a low-key plan. I don't know if it was like out of the blue for you, or I don't know how long you were thinking about it. But for us, it was like very shocking quickly. We didn't really understand fully. It was very much like, you're joining the military. Oh my goodness. What does that mean? Like, we didn't know how to like really navigate that. And it was very much like, what do you mean my older brother's not going to college? Like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like after high school, you start applying to colleges, or during high school. So it's like, what's up?
Our mother was in tears.
Yeah, depression.
She was so sad. You know, he is her first son and her only son.
Yeah.
Like,
and at the time, it's like we didn't have our grandfather anymore, passed away, and so Leo was pretty much the only man in the house. So him leaving us was just like, where is he going?
So Leo, by the way, didn't see it that deep, and maybe I should have put myself in the shoes of my mother or my sisters. But for me, it was like, oh, I mean, I'll go, I'll learn it. It's not gonna be hard. It'll be cool. Go for the benefits and then bounce. So I didn't really think like that deeply into like how long I was going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The impact it really is going to have on my mom or my sisters and my friends.
Well, think about it. I was entering freshman year when you left to the military. My whole high school years was without Leo.
Yeah, and then for me it was my last senior year of high school. And starting, so it was just like us two,
right?
But
that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll say it definitely wasn't like a super hard decision for me, but I knew somehow that things were gonna be okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can always talk
that we're
about...
gonna make it through, and that I feel like this is where a direction that I should go.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I did it.
Yeah.
And it was 4 years. Air Force, by the way. Airman.
Thank you.
Shout out to our brother, by the way. He's in Japan right now.
Let's talk about Sebas.
He would have been here, but he's in Japan serving for our country.
Sebastian, we love him. Thank you so much. Megan too. Shout out his wifey.
And yeah, Sebastian Andres Sebastian. He is our half brother.
Yes.
From our dad's side.
Yeah.
We love him.
And he, where it comes on the chain is, it's me, him, then Yuli, then Gassi.
Yeah.
So he's also an older brother to my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And he was involved in our lives as well. He was definitely there. Obviously, it just wasn't like the everyday.
Yeah.
But he was there. And we grew up with him. And we had experiences with him.
We love
him. We love him.
Yeah.
Amen.
Wish he could be here. But he followed my footsteps, joined the Air Force as well. Thank God.
You know what? Leo followed me in this shirt. Let's be for real.
Yeah, what's going on here?
He's copying me. Everyone.
The jerseys.
No, I'm so for real. I bought that entire outfit for him. And guess how much it cost? Guess.
15.
15?
15. 20?
Both.
20?
Both.
Oh.
For 15.
No.
That's kind of wild in
40?
LA.
50?
Honestly, it was like 35, but I thrifted it, guys. Thrifting
That's
is
not bad.
the way to go. But anyways.
You can find good gems.
I actually decided to match. If for being for real. I actually decided, but LOL.
I don't even know who is 32 and by NBA. Okay. I'm not athletic, by the way. I'm not an athletic guy. I know that's kind of weird. Like, dude, you joined the military, but you're not athletic? You're not physical? Okay, hold up. Growing up as a kid, with me having to wear glasses because I'm a 4 eyes and I was blind when I figured out at a young age, I couldn't really... playing sports was a hassle because I needed to take this off to be able to play because I don't want to break them. I don't want them to fall, and it's a problem. But when you're blind, you can't catch the ball. you got to see where it's going. And so I became more on the nerdier side, video games, like I said, and studying. And, well...
robotics.
That
Guys,
took me...
I'm team contacts, by the way. I'm a 4
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm in between. I don't know. Contacts kind of hurt sometimes, but my eyes are just super sensitive, so I can't really advocate too much for contacts. I'm sorry. Like, it's just my eyes feel better without them. Whatever. You know. But then again, it's awesome to like not have any glasses on, like bother you, and be able to see clearly. So I don't know. Anyways, continue.
Okay.
Write in the comments. Are you team eye contact or team glasses?
Or both. Or none.
Or both. I'm kind of both. But
team glasses.
Let's move on.
Team glasses. Contacts scare me. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Taking pills scared Lel. Oh my gosh. Do you remember?
It was so bad.
Oh, it was so
my mom
bad.
would just sit there for hours. Lel, swallow now. And Lel would just
swallow. He
would cry. He would throw a fit.
It's a gag reflex.
It's just
the pill's like this, by the way. So imagine trying to swallow that.
It's so tiny. What do you mean?
No, you know what? I'll give you that. Like they're like Leo's out here shaking, crying, like he's gonna literally die if he swallows his pill. And the pill was like, about maybe this big. And to this day, I still have trouble swallowing pills. So I can imagine as a little kid that was.
I'm good now, by the way. That was definitely a young age problem.
Oh, you moved on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can swallow, take medicine now. And actually, I can thank the military for that. Because during the screening process and like the medical process, like to make sure you're fit for service, you got to take a bunch of shots and pills. And so I was in the doctor's office sitting, and they gave me some pills that I needed to drink. And I'm like, I'm not gonna make a fit. I'm a grown man. I'm joining the military. I'm in the doctor's office. This is gonna be embarrassing if I can't drink these. So what I do? Put it in my mouth, get the water.
Be honest. Did it take you like a time?
No.
Wow.
Like nothing. And I was like, wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It's really just mental.
Yeah.
So anyways, thank you, military, for that.
Right.
Now I can...
So you joined the military, then you...
Joined the military, 4 years, got out. In the military, I learned a trade. Electrician.
Yeah.
So I do electrical work. That's my trade.
And that's what you do now.
And yeah, so when I got out, I did my 4 years honorably, separated. And now I'm working for the family business.
You're in the reserves.
In the electrical. Yeah, I switched over to the reserves, part-time military.
Mm-hmm.
But that's almost done too. And so now I'm working in the electrical field, and I recently just went back to school too. Try to get a degree.
See, son.
Now that the military is gonna pay for it, I have those benefits. Hey, let's do it.
Why not? Yeah, going for that. Awesome.
And that brings us to now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm here.
He low-key did want to be a priest though. Like it was electrician,
we
it was
went through.
Priest. Like it was a big thing and it was recent.
Yeah, this was definitely recent.
Can you just touch on it for like a minute and we'll move on to you. Like,
okay. Yeah, so really quickly, God's role like in my life. So as a kid, being introduced to God and to the faith, and being a Catholic, what my grandpa, the values that he put in me, what my dad would sing with us and would tell us stories about God. And then my mom, just a good example. Unfortunately, like because of the divorce and everything that was going on, there was hard times for sure. And so she had a little disconnect from her faith.
Yeah.
And we knew that, but we never blamed her for that.
Yeah, no.
I knew why she might have a little bit of resentment, or why she might struggle to go back, because she really thought that like God gave her my dad like to be her forever husband. And so things didn't work out, and it's natural to be like
resentment.
Why this happened?
Yeah.
So she had a falling out from her faith. So, but she was never a bad example. She showed us good manners. She showed us to stay out of vices, drinking, drugs, stay away from that.
Yeah, like she personally never, like, we never saw her drunk. We never saw her bring guys over. Like,
So in her way, she was teaching us to be good little kids.
Yeah. In
line with the Catholic faith teaches. Anyway, so my dad went through seminary. And seminary is the process. It's like school for becoming a priest. So when he was young, he felt that he had a vocation, and he went through it. Obviously, he didn't go through with it because we're here now, right? Yeah. we wouldn't be if he did. And so he went through seminary. And then I found out my grandpa also went through seminary, the one I was very close to and grew up with.
Wild.
And he didn't make it either.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have this beautiful family now. And so God in my life was always there, always behind me, and always was a voice in my head that what was right and what was wrong, and to stay the good path and to do things right. And so I felt a calling when my faith got stronger, that what really matters in life is helping people and loving God.
Yeah.
And if God is real, and I truly believe in that, and that's my conviction, why wouldn't I want to get into something to give my life fully to God and help people in that way, and to be someone in that service and in the business of saving souls? Not that I'm saving them, but that God's going to use me as an instrument to go out and preach and to tell people about the good news and to administer the sacraments. And so I thought about it, and I discerned, like, hey, is this God? Like, are you calling this to me? Like, is there something in the bloodline? Is something in the family tree? Like, maybe third time's the charm?
Right.
But no, I want to serve, but I feel a strong pull to having a family.
Yeah.
For my own. And so.
Right. And that family in itself is a ministry. It's a beautiful ministry. Yeah.
If the Lord wills, I can be a deacon still. So.
Down the line. Yeah.
Down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's it.
That's sweet.
Nice. And was, I'd say, like, was there a turn out of Catholicism? Did you come back to Catholicism? Like, how was...
So I feel like my full faith journey and like how that happened and how that developed, we can even have a podcast about that. Like our faith growth.
It's gonna take a long time.
Yeah. So like we can talk about like what we were raised in, what the belief was. Did you ever get out of that? Did you stay in that? Did you have like, how was that going into like the culture, or how was that growing up?
Yeah.
And how that affects your life. And so there's a lot to it.
So basically, podcast coming soon.
Yeah, podcast coming. Really quick. Grew up, raised Catholic. left the Catholic Church, became Protestant, and then in the military towards the end reverted back to Catholicism. And that's a big quick
Just
summary. General overview. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we align a lot. I mean, our lives, like Leo and I, we're very parallel. I think we all are, you know, in the sense of like the public education, going to school and doing all that fun stuff. Something that really stuck to me in elementary was the coffee cake. Oh my goodness. Thank you, LAUSD, for that coffee cake. I think everybody...
It was so good.
Everybody can...
So good.
Can definitely say that the coffee cake was amazing.
Fire.
And I also think the fun activities stayed in my mind. Like for Halloween, for Christmas, like all of these festivities you do as like a little kid, that kind of brought a sense of I'm having fun with like my friends. You're getting to know, you know, you start building relationships. So that was like mostly elementary. Shout out Mr. Fike. He would always put on a Dr. Seuss costume.
Oh my gosh, I remember that guy.
Everybody laugh, and he was always the light of the world during middle school. I mean, sorry, elementary. We all went to the same elementary, so we all know who we're talking about, and he was just awesome. I think that always will stay with me. I would take care of his like reptile. He would bring a reptile to class.
Spike.
Spike. Yeah. Anyways, very interesting elementary. But yeah, I think that's when cooties are a thing, like boys. Okay, I know I learned ballroom dancing when I was in elementary. I joined like the drill team. I was very much moving, and I love to move. I love to dance, and I think that sparked up during those years, learning how to tango, merengue, all that stuff. Like that's just, you know, that was just me and finding what I would love to do. Like the monkey bars, I was a pro at the monkey bars. Like I would hang backwards. You know how there's people that
monkey bars
hang backwards, like upside down. That was me. And you know, the crushes, like crushes started really early for me in elementary. I was like crushing on your homies, on just like any.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that though, because I feel like we got introduced to that so young.
It's weird because I think about it and I'm like, how? Because it wasn't just a me thing, like, oh, because it was like cooties, ew. You know, like with boys, like it was just very weird. Like even making a hand contact for like ballroom dancing, it was very much like, oh my gosh, okay. But it was also a sense of like a feeling. You're like, okay, I don't know. This is like
you're
very
cute.
new. Yeah,
You're cute.
I don't know. I
think it's very much like, I know puberty has a lot to play into it, right?
Yeah.
Just like as you're starting to grow and there's new feelings and new ways of thinking that starts to develop. So
that was very much like, you know, elementary, and I think there was a little bit of drama for some weird reason. Drama follows me.
Always drama,
right? It follows you. Anyway, to touch on back to that bee thing, that sting that you got in your butt, my sister over here got stung on her foot.
Oh my gosh, I'll never forget that. You just reminded me of it.
That was bad. I remember that.
Oh my gosh, because I was in tears.
It was bad.
I was
like
in
you
tears.
Stepped on a bee.
So, okay, we had like a water day
activity
after school. We would stay after school. Our mother would work late.
The YS
And so
program.
We would stay there. And I remember I was taking off my shoes and walking on the field without shoes. Why? I don't know, but I was, and I got stung, and I remember crying, and they're like, oh my gosh, call Yuli, her sister needs her, like call her. And Yuli literally like walked with me the whole way and was like, it's okay.
Yeah, I think even so early on, I was always like hovering over Gassi for some reason. Like every time something would happen, I'd be so alert to her, and like
she's always been a protector, and I always looked up to her, and I still do. Like she was definitely like that mother figure to me, and yeah, everyone knew that, like, oh my gosh, don't mess with Cassie because her sister is gonna beat you up. And it was true. Like she literally went and she talked to, I forgot, like someone was bullying me or something, and Yuli was like, don't ever do that again to my sister. And she literally started crying. The girl started crying. I was like, that's my sister.
Listen,
like, I was kind of like, yeah.
I would never beat him up. But
So I think you can tell, but I'm definitely like more on the chill side, and Yuli has a little more spice to her, the Latina flair.
She's spicy.
Because like you would say, like, wait,
attitude.
what about like the older brother? Like, why is he like super overprotective over the sisters? I was never overprotective.
that was
you
my
guys,
job.
huh?
No, she
No.
was.
No, I
that
think
was
that
the
was my job.
chillest guy you would ever
Yeah,
meet.
really like non-confrontational. I didn't get into any fights. Always a peacemaker, and so that
was that.
Yeah,
Yuli, you took that role.
Let's talk a middle school.
Yeah,
You really
it's
would
the-
be getting down with people in middle school.
No, I was not getting down with anybody during middle school, but I was very, the stereotype, you guys. I'm the middle child. It's like I go through it, right? The one who goes through it in every way. But yes, middle school comes. And middle school was also, Leo and I were only 1 year apart for school. So we were just very close in that sense. And my sister, we were 3 years apart in school, school years. So with Leo in middle school, it was weird. Like we were so close, but we didn't hang out with the same people. We had our different groups, very different, but yet very close. It was like, oh, that's Yuli's brother, that's it, or like, oh, that's Leo's sister. But it was, sometimes it would come up even later. People didn't even know
She's your
that.
sister?
Yeah.
What? Wait. Oh my god, I see it now. Oh my gosh.
Just give me the glasses and
Yeah.
but yeah, during middle school I was known as like the Miss Popular, the pretty girl, Miss Popular girl, hangs out with people who just, I don't know, like it was just really weird. I don't know why I got put into that like category. I feel like people put me into a category and kind of made up a reality of who I was in their minds when they didn't really know me. So I think that's what kind of sucked, because that followed me through high school. I was always put into a category, and I think that happens because of like, oh, the friends you hang out with, like, and stuff like that. And I think for me, I was hanging out with people who would, be there, have my back when I need them. Each other, we make each other happy. Like I always had good friends, and I never once did they ever do me wrong during that time. And I would always be so loving and help them out as well, like having that protective side. But they were bringing so much, problems, I guess. I was not a part of them. I was dragged in the mess, but I was not a part of them. I always tried to stop any kind of fights during that time. And I was very much the good girl. I didn't do drugs. I didn't do any of that stuff. Definitely in middle school, that's like introduced to kids. We were so young, and there was a lot of middle schoolers who were already doing, edibles and like drinking as well. So that was super.
We're 13, by the way, and there's people who are smoking in the bathrooms.
Oh.
Oops.
That's so funny.
Let's just leave it. Guys,
we love that, you guys. This is like authentic here.
Hold on. I kind of like the one string.
You know what? This is funny.
It makes sense.
But you know what? This ties into how
things fall apart.
Things happen,
Life
you
falls
guys.
Apart.
Things happen. The unplanned, the unexpected. It's great. Let's just continue. So I think for me, middle school was just, I'm telling you, it was just brought into a lot of things brought up, and I had good friends. And one day, one friend of mine was like, hey, you need to come to this. We all need to go to this. This is awesome. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. After school. I know, I'm going to tell you right now. They were like, come on, pack your stuff. Like, let's ask your mom for permission. Like, let's do it. I was like, okay. I winged it. I didn't even know what was going on, but it was all my friends going. So I'm like, let's go. I got permission. I went. And it was just awesome. It was random people. I didn't even know who they were. They're all older.
She's a middle schooler going to a random house with random people. What are you talking about?
I trusted my friends, and I trusted those that loved me. And yeah, I went for it. I asked mom, and I was like, hey, can I go? Okay, what is it about? It's just like a hangout, I think, with friends. Like, I'll be back soon. I can have a ride home. Like, my mom's like, okay, I trust you. And it was very very young thinking about it, but I had so much trust and like the friends, my mom knew who they were, and so it wasn't a big worry, and I had a phone, and so there was those things already introduced, and so she let me go. And I think thanks to my mom for letting me go, it changed my life. I went to an organization called Young Life. And so Young Life is basically designed for non-believers in Christ, like bring them together in a gathering, make it fun, come with your friends, let's talk, let's eat, let's play games, and then at the end they will introduce the gospel for a good like 10 to 15 minutes.
And if you don't know what the gospel means, it's basically Jesus's life. His ministry,
yeah. And so it would just be great stories. It would be leaders who talked about their testimonies and how they were so in the dark and how they're so bubbly and light. Like these people would love me and like care so much to talk to me, and I'm like, that's interesting.
It's different.
And definitely changed my life. I mean, God was then fired. Like I got fired up. The Holy Spirit was like, yes. And I started to learn more about who Jesus was. And like I said, I have a lot of the similarity fundamentals as my brother does. And I think it was very hard to grow spiritually, having, you know, my mom who was very broken and depressed in that state, and her relationship with God wasn't present. And with dad, you know, we would go, but it was just very much like routine based, I think, a little bit, unfortunately. But we found it. I found it a different way with my friends, and I wanted my brother. I told my brother, hey, you need to come. Like, it's awesome. Like, we talk about Jesus, right? Like, we know who Jesus is, like, but you feel that, and you see that in real life. You see people who, when you see them, you think, wow, God really did something in their lives.
Right, because we would hear crazy, like, testimonies. Testimony is basically, like, God picking someone up and working in their lives. Like, that's what a testimony is. But we would hear crazy testimonies about people who were drug addicts, or people who were just, like, thrown in the adoption world, in the foster care system, and, like, going through crazy things. And they turned out to be beautiful, like, well-spoken, nice, friendly people. Like, it didn't make sense to us.
Like, put this in perspective, you guys. You are probably in college, you drive, and you're driving like 5 kids home, and you get home until maybe like midnight after dropping them off on a weekday. You probably work the next day. It's like these people took the time to really just talk to you, and
that's crazy,
bring you home and have that connection with you. So Young Life was just awesome, and all my friends got into it, and it just became a routine. And just to speed it up, fast forwarding to, because, you know, then there's the love, and there's the love, obviously, you know. But moving on to high school, I was very much in a relationship for a very long time, and I was known as the girlfriend, you know. And then I got into the whole, that's when you see me, you see the other person, and it's like all friends, we're all in the same group. So that was how it was for me in high school, and that kind of always stuck to me. I tried to make some friends with people, and they would always just say, like, are you talking to me? I don't know. I don't really want problems. Like, it, and it was just like, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, what problems? Like, no. I'm like, no, nobody, what? Like, who will make problems with you? It was honestly really sad to me sometimes, because it was like, I would just want to be friends with people and want to share life with others, and they were just kind of, yeah, you should probably just stick to your group. I don't want to.
Because wait, so you're saying people had an idea of you because of the people you spent time with, the relationship you were in. They kind of just made ideas of you, and when they're talking to you, they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to be part of that. So
I think so,
like that.
And also just very much like, this was just confessed to me then later, like, I thought that you were gonna like bully me and be a mean person. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're just like, yeah, I don't know, so I just thought that you were just a completely different person, and they did not even know, not even any answer, like, of who I was. So that just made me really sad. I was like, wow, that sucks that people had that kind of perspective of me. But anyway. I'm like,
yeah, that's rough.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, high school was kind of tough. I feel like it was good. Like, I love the people I was with. Like, I didn't share high school that much with you, only 1 year, but with you I shared it for 3. And for sure, I mean, there was love there. I just went through getting to know who God was and not getting the full support that I think I needed from those around me. And so eventually I went through heartbreak, and it was, tough, very tough. And moving on from that, I just then began to finish my senior year. I was like, I just kind of want to leave and finish high school. And I became very close to a few friends, and she was just like my right hand, and we got it through together because we went through a lot of, a friend passing away at that time as well. And it was just everybody, my whole year was just going through it, trying to be there for each other. Even though I felt like less and more people would leave because that separation of friends. So it was just kind of trying to balance that out. I learned a lot during that time. And so
CSUN.
Yeah, CSUN, college, CSUN, and COVID happened, y'all. Had a good semester. COVID happened, and I just became online college student, and that's pretty much where I'm at.
She graduated, guys.
Graduated.
With like 2 majors, 1 minor, I think.
Yes,
like
a dual bachelor. Yes, I got 2 degrees, one in system operations management and the other one in global supply chain management. It's in business administration. And now I'm going for my MBA.
Yeah. Well, one of us needed to go the college route, so she did it.
Yeah, I did it. First generation of of our blood. Like sibling, mom, dad, stuff like that. So
first gens out there.
First gens.
What's up?
And yeah, I mean, that's when I dragged you into it. I was like, hey, you need to know this. You need to know Young Life. Like, this is awesome, amazing.
Right. And we could just pick it up from there. Like, so I was literally the most disobedient child ever. I was just hating the world. I was an angry child. I remember crying every single day. Like, I would cry every single day. I just hated everything. Which was crazy. And I think a lot of it, like learning, I'm a psych major, by the way.
Psych.
So I'm learning a lot about just our childhood and how that affects us unconsciously. Like, we're not aware of it. Like, not seeing parents together, I didn't think was affecting me, but I realized, oh yeah, no, it kind of disoriented how I viewed love.
Yeah.
And then that changed my whole perspective of myself, right? And so I think the biggest thing growing up was like battling with my identity, because obviously as a child going into high school, like learning about yourself, you're trying to figure out, who am I, where do I fit in, what friends do I want, all the things. And so I feel like I was like a sponge soaking in everything everyone told me, because I felt emotions so deeply, right? And so so we grew up, and I just like didn't really talk to Lel that much, right? Like, he was glued onto his computer screen. Like, we didn't really had a conversation that much. With Yuli, like, we were very close up until like middle school, because she had her own friends, she had her own issues, and we have such a large gap that it was like, well, I can't relate to you really, and you can't relate to me. And so I kind of just felt alone, like, to be honest. I felt alone. I felt like no one understands my pain or whatever, and I was stuck in that. And there's some truth to it, but I also think that the enemy just was over me and was like, you suck, you're worthless, you have no purpose in life. And I genuinely felt like that. Like, in middle school, that was like the hardest time of my life, I would say.
Do you think that like came up to be when you got held back for that 1 year?
Yeah. So initially I walked in to elementary school. I am dyslexic. It took forever for me to speak like normal sentences without stuttering, without whatever it was. I just suck at reading, whatever. And so because of that,
you're a psych major now, so
Yeah.
In the honors college.
But I hated school, and I remember like not doing my homework, not paying attention. I was just that kid. And my teacher at the time was like, yeah, I think we should keep her a year longer. And my mom was like, yeah, if this is gonna help her, keep her there. My dad was like, no, she'll get it. But eventually, like, obviously my mom had our like main custody, so they
like final say.
They went with that decision. And I didn't really know until the first day of, so I got held back first grade. So going into second grade, I didn't go into second grade. I went into first grade again. And I didn't realize till the first day of school when they were like, yeah, you're going to the same teacher. And I was like, huh? And then in the first day, first class, he was like, Cassie, can you step up here real quick? I'm going to introduce you. You're my little helper this year. Like, he made it known to everyone in the class that I was there again.
Did that help?
No. Okay. I was like, leave me alone. This is embarrassing, because this is embarrassing. Like, I'm stupid. Like, because
you were embarrassed. Okay, yeah.
I was embarrassed, sure. And the people that moved on were making fun of me. They were like, you're stupid. Why would you what do you learn in first grade? Like, how do you not get that? And so all those labels kind of stuck onto me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm never enough. She started to believe it. Yeah, like, I'm never enough. And sadly, I didn't have people speaking life over me. I didn't. And I was
What do you mean by speaking life over you?
Speaking life, like, I didn't have anyone saying like, you are beautiful, you are a jewel, you deserve.
Like speaking that to
like
you
speaking life, like like having good influences around me. I didn't have that. Walking into middle school, I was friends with a bunch of girls who were jealous, so jealous. Like, they would tell you you're ugly to feel better.
100. I mean, I've had that too. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Like, us girls were jealous. We compete with each other, and that's how it was in middle school.
It's so ugly. Yeah, so ugly.
I didn't go through that.
It was so rough. So and also, I was just like literally believing all the lies everyone was telling me. And so again, I was confused, right? Because I was believing I'm unworthy, I'm ugly, I'm dumb. You know, all these things. And so it led me to a place of like darkness. And I remember experiencing my first panic attack. It was like, I think it was 7th grade. Yeah. And I had my first period was PE. So I remember walking in there, literally like couldn't be, like, I wasn't able to breathe. And I was like, what's going on? And I was panicking. And one of my friends was in the locker room, luckily, and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I can't breathe. I start crying, and she's like, what happened? Like, what led up to this? And I was like, well, me and my mom just got in an argument the whole way to school. And that's kind of how it was in middle school. So our mom lost her job for a very long time, and that put her into a deep place. So she had anxiety, she had depression, and I'm sure, and I love her, and when I talk about people and what they did to me, I'm not talking to shame them. I'm not talking to like, oh, you're a horrible person. No, I'm talking about the enemy. I'm talking about the sin that has control over their lives. Because it's not the person, it's not who they are, but it's what they're dealing with. It's what what the world tells you. And she believed that for a while, and that affected me because she would project that.
And of course.
So I remember like us arguing every single morning, and it was just like a confusing time for me. And luckily, when I became a freshman, Yuli was a senior. Yuli was like, Cassie, I'm taking you to Young Life. You can come with me now, and you're gonna come. And up until my first camp at Young Life, summer camp, I did not care about religion. I did not care about a God. I was just stuck in friends, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I did not pray to anyone. I did not do none of that. So I would say, like, I think I was just mad. I didn't want to believe that there was someone good out there. Like, I was just stuck in it. And so we went to camp, and I remember that was my first time opening up about anything. Because before that, I didn't talk to anyone about anything. And my friends, I remember in middle school, would get so upset because they were like, Cassie, why don't you ever talk or share? Right?
Yeah, it's like we're trusting you, we're talking. And
right. It was kind of like, oh, Miss Perfect, you have your life easy because you don't share.
Yeah.
And so because I just never felt comfortable, I never understood, I never talked about it. And so I had these leaders who were like, Cassie, you are so beautiful, you are so worthy, like, tell me about your life. And I'm like, what do you mean? This is normal. And they're like, no, what happened to you is not normal, it's not okay, don't normalize it. And there's so much more that you could have. And I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of like opened up my heart a little bit when I went to camp. And then fast forward, sophomore year, the end of it, we went into COVID.
And sorry, before you say that, you went to a spiritual camp, a Christian camp.
Right.
Right, okay.
So Young Life is built up that they're with you through your whole school year, and then at the end, in the summer, they take you to a camp for a week. Mm-hmm. And in this camp, it's built to share the gospel and to share how it would be like in heaven. So everything is like perfect there. Yeah. Like people are serving you, and mind you, like there's high schoolers and middle schoolers who are serving you, who are helping you to have a good time at camp out of their own like willing heart. They're not getting paid for do any of that service. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, oh, there's people my age who understand God and who are so happy. Like, this is crazy. So camp was very transformative for me at that time. And so at the end of like COVID, I remember getting into it junior year. I was in full lockdown. And that year, yet there's like so much pain, so much confusion, so much lost. That is where I found God. Yeah. That is where it slowed down my life. Mm-hmm. It brought me closer to Yuli because we were forced to talk to each other. Like we were all forced. We were all forced to communicate. We were all forced to communicate with one another. And so I remember just slowing down, and I would, at that time, Yuli was doing like Bible studies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember her being like nicer, and I was like, hold on.
Nicer. Yeah, my sister and I, we went through it. Like we're sisters. We're sisters. We pull each other's hair. We see each other's clothes. And every single time, Gassi and I would fight, no matter what. If it's me hitting her physically and her hitting me physically, she would cry, right? Obviously, because it's like your sister's hitting you, right? I don't know. And she would run to her room. I remember specifically. She would run to the bathroom, lock herself in there, crying, like, horribly. And this was before, right? Before the whole, like, Jesus, oh my goodness, he loves me, right? In my heart, and, like, Holy Spirit, transformative. Before all that, it was very much, like, out of anger and out of, like, annoyed, you know, also being in that stage, because we all go through, you know, we all go through that phase. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I feel so bad of a sister. Like I'm making her cry. She's locked herself in the bathroom. I'm gonna go over there. The motherly instinct inside of me was like, open this door right now.
No, okay, so I would be in tears in the bathroom because one, she just beat me up. So for what? I don't even know for what. So I was in there crying, and I would hear a knock, and she would be like, Cassie, I'm sorry. Come out.
Open the door. And she'd be like, no. And I'm like, no, open the door. She's like, my hand. And she opens her door. She's like, my hand hurts. And I'm like, okay, come here. Let's sit down. Let me see it.
And she would heal me. One time she like grabbed a wrap and she wrapped my hand, and I was like, my hand's broken, guys.
Yeah, I put like pomada on it. I became like a whole nurse and mom, like still being angry, but also doing that act of like, I'm sorry, I care for you, and like, let me just like wrap you up, like make you feel like you're being cared
like,
for.
Battles.
We had a lot of battles.
Physically.
She would go ham, like. Full on.
Okay.
Sucked.
I don't think. Look,
no, it wasn't like abuse, guys.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't like I had bruises and sometimes I had bruises.
Hey, girl, you to me too. Okay, let's not play.
But like it wasn't like damn. Like
no, it wasn't crazy. Like I wanna like kill my sister. It wasn't like that. Obviously,
it's a normal between sisters.
Yeah, like we're fighting. We're Latinas. We're spicy. We're gonna hate each other.
Yeah,
like, it was like a little slap in the face, but let's talk about the slaps in my face. I got slapped so many. No, I'm not kidding. Like 3 times in my life. And they both protect me so much. I remember Lel being like, don't ever touch her again, and Yuli being like, don't ever touch her again to my parents. But you guys, I deserve those slaps. I would talk back. I would deserve those slaps. So
yeah, you know, that's a whole other thing. But
right.
For sure.
Continue. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a whole thing, and there's we should discipline our kids. Yeah. But
of course.
Anyways, so fast forward to COVID. I saw Yuli and she was being nice to me. She was like, I was like, okay, maybe there's something. I think like unconsciously I was like, hey, maybe there's something when it comes to reading this Bible or whatever it is. And I remember like a word came to my mind, and it was Luke. The word Luke came to my mind. And at the time I had a boyfriend who we didn't have the best relationship at the time. And so I remember like I remember having Luke in my mind, and I was like, okay, what's Luke? And then Yuli was like, that's a gospel. And I was like, great. And I had one friend who I would talk to all the time, and she was the only Christian friend that I had. And so she was like, Cassie, you have Luke in your mind. You're not cheating on your boyfriend. Don't worry. I think it might be the gospel. So let's read it. And so we began reading it, and it was crazy. It was like the words coming out of the Bible, and it hit me in the face, and I'm transformed. Genuinely, it felt like that. And so I remember being in my bed and be like, God, take my life. I don't want this. I don't want the things I'm feeling. I don't want to remember all the pain. Like, just take it. And he did. Literally the next day, I woke up feeling so at peace, so filled with love. I was crying because I felt forgiveness for people. I was like, yeah, I don't have any hatred towards you. I love you, actually.
And it's weird. It's crazy. Just to like wrap ourselves up real quick after like this conversation, how you were talking about that being loving and being like super bright and experiencing that transformation. I saw that in you, and I also saw Lil's transformation, and I think we all saw each other's transformation. Wild, crazy. Like,
right.
It was like, wait, this is weird. Gassi's like being super loving, crying, what? In another sense. And then like Lil, head no longer glued to computer screen, but Bible. It was like, wow. So for sure,
yeah. And so like
there was a lot there.
Yeah, and like now that's why we're here. Like we need to talk about why that is, how that happened, and that's basically like where we come from and what we did.
Right. So just to wrap it up, that's it. God changed my life, and I'm a Jesus follower, guys.
Yes.
I am known to be a Jesus follower. In high school, that was me. In college, it's still me, and I love God so much. And so that's why we're called Chasing and Aligned.
Chasing and Aligned.
Because we're chasing God's will, and we're aligned for this moment. So
Exactly.
that's why we're called that. And I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Please follow, subscribe,
give
leave
us a like,
comment. If you have anything you want to tell us, say it.
All the good jazz.
Yeah, so
All
we
the
love
good
you guys
things.
so much, and we hope that you guys took something from this.
Yes.
And just follow along for the next podcast. We're gonna talk about dating, maybe, and love, maybe.
Or love. What is
We'll
that?
see.
We'll see.
So stay tuned. So goodbye.
Yeah, guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.